Chikko means hugging the trees, right? So that's how it started environmental concern. And these people, Bishnoi people, are the one who sued case on Salman Khan for killing a black bug. And recently, one of the famous Bishnoi environmentalist recently died on 27th of May 2021. Who is that? Who wrote many books regarding this environment. He was one of the famous environmentalists in the world, Sundarlal Bahuguna, right? So that is Bishnoi movement, and we Indians know this very well. What is the value of environment, and we have developed our ethics late, very early. I can give you many examples. I have few examples to state. This is what we worship cow, Gaumata. Why? Because we know that even if you feed poison to the cow, it never excretes that in the dung, cow dung, or urine or a milk. It stores it in the fat and uses it for the body, or I mean, retains in the body for till it's die. It never gives it back. So that is the purity of cow. Our people identified it and they started worshipping cow because the milk of a cow is equivalent to lactating mother's milk. And we even worship many festivals like Tej, Bonalu, Batkama, right? So many festivals we are worshipping the trees. Why? Because we know that without trees we cannot survive, right? We even worship the animals like snake god, Naguna Panchami, right? The monkey god, Hanuman, the elephant god, Ganesha, right? We worship this tiger, elephant, lion as a vehicle, or for Ma Durga, right? So that is how we show our gratitude towards these animals, which are protecting our crops and which maintain ecological balance in the environment. We worship Tulsi. Worshipping is nothing but a gratitude to show respect to the environmental components like water, right, air, right, Navagrahalu, Panchamahabhutalu, all these, what we say, these are nothing but the materials which make us survival of the life. So we give a grand arti every day to show our gratitude to Mother Water, Goddess Ganga, because without water we cannot survive more than 3 days, my dear. We celebrate Bonalu, respecting the neem tree, neem, right? Ellamma God antamu, atlane Batkama, God of life. We celebrate with different type of flowers decorating available in that season. The flowers are nothing but the God. We are comparing God flowers with the goddess. So that is what we show our gratitude because we are related to them. We say, we feel, we behave in such a way that without any environment we are unfit, we are unable to survive in the environment. So we show our gratitude in that way. This is environmental ethics. If you have any doubts, you can raise. Otherwise, I will take one more topic, that is global warming. Very old and common topic, right? Global warming. You people all know that. What is global warming? Rise in the temperature of the globe is called as a global warming. Why it is occurring? Because of trapping of solar energy due to greenhouse gases. What are the greenhouse gases? Carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, oxides of nitrogen, all methane, all these are nothing but greenhouse gases. In that, the biggest problem is carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is a non-poisonous gas which is not a direct pollutant but it is indirect pollutant because its presence causes greenhouse gas effect and global warming. What is the concentration now? The concentration of CO2 is more than 400 ppm, my dear. It was never more than 250 ppm in the past whenever the global warming has occurred, but this is the first time its concentration is beyond 400 ppm per parts per million, right? What happened? The rise in the global temperature occurs. How much rise has occurred? Zero point 0.3 has occurred till now, or people say 0.07 degrees Celsius per decade on an average. The increase in the temperature is occurring, right? And if it continuously occur in the same way, it may lead to 5 degrees or 7 degrees Celsius, and that could cause drastic changes in the environment. What is that change? Global warming will cause climate change, right? I will discuss about climate change later on. What is that global warming? This is what NASA has recently released a picture in 2020. This is the in the graph showing the increment in the temperature due to global warming chronologically, that is yearly, right? Since too many years, and 2016 is considered as one of the hottest year in the history of Earth or human life, right? Because of the global warming, only all this is occurring, yeah, right? And what is global warming phenomena? This is what explains. Every day, the sunlight gives radiation. That radiations come from sun to earth, and after striking, a part of it will be absorbed by the materials on the earth and the remaining re-radiated back. How much is absorbed by the materials on the earth? Question to students: how much is absorbed? It is only 1,000th part, that is 2% will be absorbed, remaining is re-radiated back. But this radiation is not going out, it is getting trapped inside because these greenhouse gas acts as a trapper, and it is getting accumulated. Heat is getting accumulated here and it is conducting to Earth, and Earth's temperature is increasing. This is the phenomena of global warming. Simple phenomena. Right? Do you have any doubts in this? No, right. I have it now. When the
No, sir.
radiation, yes, yes, go ahead, my dear.
No, sir. I'm
You
telling I
have
have
it
no
down.
doubts.
All right, very
No,
good.
sir.
I have it
You
out,
go
my
ahead,
dear.
sir. What
Right,
is it?
I have it down. When the radiations come from sun to earth passing through this greenhouse gas, right? They are coming through this. While going, they are not able to go out. They are getting trapped. If they can come into the earth's atmosphere, why can't they go into outer space? Because from outer space they are coming in. So why can't they go out?
because of the atmosphere.
Yes, atmosphere is there every day, Nama. మార్నింగ్ కూడా అట్మాస్ఫియర్ ఉంటుంది వచ్చేటప్పుడు, మరి వెళ్ళేటప్పుడు కూడా అట్మాస్ఫియర్ ఉంటుంది. Atmosphere is there since the earth has formed. Because of that atmosphere only we are able to survive. So greenhouse gases are also there every day. While coming every day morning, this occurs daily routine, my dear, not a particular day, daily routine. The radiation comes and they go. They are coming but they are unable to go. They are getting trapped. Why? They are not allowed. Why? Simple logic. This is the logic of global warming, my dear. This is more important. Why? Because the radiations what are coming from sun to earth, these white arrows are nothing but shortwave radiations which are highly energetic and which can pass through these greenhouse gas. Once they strike any object, these shortwave radiations will get converted into long wave radiation, this orange arrow, which are weak radiations, long wave radiations. So because they are weak, they are opaque. I mean, they cannot pass through these atmospheric greenhouse gases. That's how they are getting trapped here and the temperature increases. I told you, I gave you one example. In hot summer, you park your car in the sunlight, go out for half an hour and come and sit in the car. The temperature inside the car is more than the temperature outside the car. Why? Because the glass acts as a greenhouse gas. It will allow these shortwave radiations inside, but long wave radiations cannot go out of the glass. They get trapped inside, and the temperature inside the car will increase more than the temperature outside. Same phenomena occurs in the environment, which is called as global warming. Is that the only reason? I mean, this increased CO gases under that? No, there is another reason why the global warming nowadays has increased faster, because methane gas. I mean, the methane gas is being released because of natural decay of organic materials and even animal waste natural decay. And one more factor, important one, is decrease in the fossil fuel content in the earth. Right? The fossil fuel is present in the globe, earth, land. We are extracting it. This fossil fuel also helps in trapping this radiation. This hot energy, I mean heat, which is getting trapped, will be absorbed by that fossil fuel, and that can maintain the temperature of the globe. But because of the depletion of fossil fuel, this temperature is not being absorbed totally, and that is why the temperature increases and it is conducting the temperature, raise of the temperature of the globe, right? So this is what global warming is occurring. What causes global warming? Global warming causes climate change, right? Then various other effects, like we can say the melting of ice cap, polar ice, right? Then adverse impact on environment, extreme weather conditions. Sometimes it is extreme. I will explain that with climate change, right? All that is a problem. The first problem of global warming is climate change. What is climate change? Climate change means change in the climatic condition, that is prolonged long-term change in the average weather pattern, right? Prolonged conditions like, I mean, summers are increased in some places and some places winters are increased. Unseasonal rainfall and even extended rainfall and short rainfall. In some seasons, suddenly the temperature rainfall will be very high. Like I can give you example. Last year, October 12th and 13th, we had a heavy rainfall and there was floods in Hyderabad. In 2019, September 23 and 24 was heavy rainfall. So in September's and October's, we are getting heavy rainfall for short period. Today also in the morning, we had a heavy rainfall, right? In the month of August, right? So that is what, at the end of the rainy season, we are having excess amount of rainfall, right? And some places there is a change in the weather conditions. So what is the problem? This is called as climate change. What is the problem? My dear, we all the living beings are having a biological clock and we got ourselves connected to the environment with this rhythmic change in the environmental conditions or climatic conditions. Like I'll give you simple examples. We have mango tree in our country, right? When this mango fruits will come in the month of May and June, why can't they come in the December and Jan? Because the season that changes in the May and June will is a, I mean, suitable, right? Uh, Suitable condition for that mangoes to start inflorescence and give flowers and then the fruits and uh, budding and fruits, right? So that is how all the living beings are got attached to the weather conditions. But because of changed weather conditions, these I mean living beings are unable to understand the condition of the weather, and some are inflorescence are giving early, some are getting late, and that's how living beings are getting killed and they are getting lost, right? So that is the impact of global warming. It causes extreme weather conditions like climate change, adverse impact on environment, like, I mean, some places it is causing heavy rainfalls, floods, cyclones, and some places drought, famine, and other conditions. Then melting of ice causes increase in the sea level, that is nearly 3 millimeters per year on average worldwide. The rise in the sea level is occurring, and which causes submerging or flooding of the islands, and some of the animals will be permanently extinct, and that causes adverse impact on flora and fauna extinct and loss of biodiversity. Right? Then acid rain. What is acid rain? What is acid? Acid means something which is related to pH. What is pH? P and H. What is that? Negative log of hydrogen ion concentration is the definition of pH. Then what is pH? Potential hydrogen ion concentration is called as pH. Right, potential hydrogen ion concentration, power of hydrogen ion concentration is called as a P and H. Right, the pH range starts from 0 to 14. 0 to 7 are acid, 7 is neutral, 7 to 14 are bases. What is the normal pH of the rain? Less, around more than 5.5. Right, around 6 will be the pH of rain, or slightly 5.5. Right, why it is not 7, why it is 6, which is slightly acidic pH rain? Because when the rain forms, that is by the clouds, right, the condensation and lower temperature, right, is needed. Lower pressure, lower temperature is needed for the condensation, and then precipitation will occur, right? So when the lower temperature, low pressure, the water will form directly? No. You see that when you boil the water, the steam comes. Will that steam gets converted into water anywhere? No. It will float to the air, my dear. Unless you put your hand or any plate, that steam will start condensing. That means a base material is needed for the condensation of water in the nature also. A base material, the cloud has to convert into water, and a base material molecule is needed. So CO2 acts as a base molecule. So water gets condensed on CO2 molecules, so it forms slightly carbonic acidified. So rainwater is always carbonic acidified. That's why its pH will be slightly 6, acidic, right? But what is acid rain? Forever rainwater will be slightly acidic. But what is acid rain? This water, while coming down through the atmosphere, if in the atmosphere, if H2 oxides of sulfur and oxides of nitrogen are more, they combine with the water, right? H SO2 or NO2, right? These combine with the water and forms H2SO4 or HNO3, nitric acid and sulfuric acid, and that acid will fall down as an acid rain, which has got a pH less than 5.5. That is called as acid rain. Then what will happen if acid rain falls? If it falls on us, we get irritated, itching, right? Boils on the skin. So it can affect agriculture, plants and animals and humans, and even materials will get affected because of acid rain, right? Like the plants will get boils, necrotic and chlorotic spots will develop in the plants, and even this aquatic ecosystem, the change in the pH of the water will cause affects the aquatic ecosystem, and then the water pipes which are carrying this acid rain water will start leaching the heavy metals like iron and lead and copper, and it will come into the drinking water and can affect the humans who drank that water. It damages the building, the strength and stability and of the concrete and steel will get decreased because of this acids, and even the stones like marble will get discolored because of the exposure to acid rain, right? So this is what the Taj Mahal was earlier colored. This was the color of Taj Mahal because of the formation of calcium sulfate due to the calcium carbonate reacted with H2SO4. It has turned into a yellow color. The color or decoloration or color change in the color of the Taj Mahal is occurring because of exposure to acid rain. So this is the problem of acid rain. Then the next topic is ozone layer depletion. What is ozone? Ozone is O3 gas which is present in the stratospheric ozone layer. We discussed in the first few classes components of atmosphere, right? So that filters UV radiation and doesn't allow UV radiation to come down, because the process of ozone needs energy, and that takes from the UV radiation of the sunlight. But the ozone, when it is present in that area, and I mean that is getting depleted. What is ozone layer depletion? The gases like CFCs and HFCs, chlorofluorocarbons and hydrofluorocarbons, when we use here, like sources are like freon gas from the refrigerants and propellants, like in what we say aerosols. People are using these gases, so that gases releases a chlorine molecule, right? A chlorine radical. This chlorine radical can retain in the ground level for 2 to 3 months. In that time, if it reaches the stratospheric layer, it can start depleting the ozone gas. How it does that? One chlorine radical will combine with an ozone molecule O3 and dissociates that into ClO and O2. The ClO is called as chlorine monoxide, right? It forms a chlorine monoxide. Again, the ClO combines with a nascent oxygen and forms Cl and O. That means Cl is again released to attack one more ozone molecule. In that way, one chlorine radical, if it reaches the stratospheric ozone layer, it can dissociate more than 1 lakh molecules of ozone into oxygen. So that's how the ozone which was there over in the stratospheric layer will get dissociated into oxygen, and its concentration decreases slowly. What is the concentration of ozone gas in that stratospheric layer? I discussed it in that classes, my dear. 10 ppm, and that is thinning. That is when the concentration decreases, the thinning of the gas occurs, and what we call ozone hole has formed. And what is the impact of depletion of ozone layer? This UV light will be directly entering into our atmosphere and falls on the ground, and that causes a lot of diseases like skin cancers, and even develops cataract in the humans, and even the plants will get affected because physiological and biochemical cycles of the plants will get affected, right? Then phytoplankton, that is microscopic organisms living in the water, will also die due to exposure to UV radiation. So even the materials like polymers, biopolymers will also get deteriorated because of exposure to UV radiation. So that is the problem. And UV radiations also cause transductions and cancer, causing cell development in the human beings. So that is a problem. So we need to control ozone depletion, and ozone depletion has to stop, right? So this is ozone depletion, and next is disasters. Right, last topic of the fifth unit, disasters. What is disaster? It is a catastrophe, totally disturbance, sudden situation where everybody will get disturbed. Either it could be a panic situation or a chaos situation where everybody involves or gets disturbed. Maybe some people directly involved, some people indirectly involved, right? So society is not normal. It is totally disturbed for a certain time period when there is a disaster in that particular area, right? So these disasters are of two types. One is natural disasters, one is human-made disasters. Human-made and human-induced. There are two types. I will explain. What are natural disasters? Disasters which occur naturally, like droughts, earthquakes, emergency diseases like pandemic, extreme heat, floods, flash floods, hurricanes, tropical storms, landslides, thunders, tornadoes, tsunami, wildfire. All these are nothing but natural disasters. Then human made, there are two types: human made disasters and human induced disasters. What is this human made? Human made means intentionally people make the disasters, that is they plan, execute and do the disasters, like a terror attack, bomb blast. They plan, they execute and they create a bomb blast and kill the people and disturb the economy of a particular country. That is human made disaster. What is happening now in Afghanistan is a human made, because people planned it and they did it in that way. They are doing it knowingly. It is not unknowing activity. Right? People are doing it wantedly. So that is what human made disaster. Then human induced. Without intention, people might have involved in a disaster. What is the best example of this human induced? Global warming and ozone layer. We doesn't know that what happening to the environment because of usage of the CFCs and HFCs and increased CO2 and fossil fuel burning, right? So unknowingly it has resulted into global warming and ozone layer depletion. Now we came to know that, so now we need to control it. So that is human made disasters and human induced, like hazardous material, power service disruption and blackout, nuclear power plant, blasting and accidental blast of nuclear power plants, radiological emergencies, chemical threat and biological weapons, right? These people say this COVID-19 virus is a biological weapon done by China intentionally. So it comes under human-made disaster if they have done it intentionally. No, if it accidentally came into existence means that is human-induced disaster, right? So that is what types of disasters. Now, what does this disaster make? They have an impact on the environment, infrastructure, and development. Adverse impact, like whenever a disaster occurs, the first thing is loss of life and loss of property, right? Definitely, maybe not always loss of life occurs. Sometimes people can even save themselves very well if we are prepared for the occurrence of disaster. No loss of life and no damage can occur, property damage. But sometimes it occurs, right? Then collapsing buildings and other structure destroyed can cause loss of property and loss of life also. Agricultural loss, that is if agricultural crop, suddenly heavy rain or cyclone or floods occur, then there will be loss, or famine condition loss. Fall of the trees can cause the effect of environment, right? The loss in the vegetation. Then fire causing loss of vegetation and loss of biodiversity. Loss of power. Household waste get into the water system, and then all the water bodies will get contaminated and spread of contagious diseases or waterborne diseases will occur. Contaminated water supply, same thing. Lack of food and drinking water for humans and wild animals, and everybody, animals and humans will fight and conflicts and die, kill each other, right? Then soil erosion because of floods, and toxic gases released into the atmosphere like carbon dioxide, oxygen from volcanoes add to the natural greenhouse gases and greenhouse migration of wild animals because of the floods in the forest or famine in the forest, and leading to a loss of wildlife in some drought-stricken areas or flood-stricken areas. So these are the effects of disasters. Then the basic principles of disaster mitigation. The disaster mitigation can be done by PPRR, two PPRs. What is that? Prevention, preparedness, response, and recovery. Right. Prevention means we need to prevent occurrence of a disaster, and then we need to prepare ourselves. If any disaster occurs, how best we can get rid of that or mitigate that. Then response, how best people respond at the time of disaster and they control or recover themselves from the disaster. That is the approach. Okay, all these can be again explained in the basic cycle of disaster management. Before that, local disaster management capability, that is local government, that is local government areas are employed, and the local disaster management groups, people, groups are made in the local authority, that is, I mean, in the local areas, which will look into the act, that is Disaster Mitigation Act, and there the people will involve themselves in the disaster mitigation and support by district and state groups to ensure the local disaster management groups is able to effectively undertake disaster operation. These local disaster management group, disaster management arrangement divides a region or a state into disaster districts. They divide them into disaster districts, with each district comprising one or more local government areas, right? And therefore, these LDMGs, right? The Act establishes a district disaster management group for each district to provide support when required or requested by the local disaster management group. So we are dividing the states or district into small groups or small areas, so that, and we will establish these authorities called as local disaster management group and local government areas, right? So that people will be taken care very quickly and immediately. So that is how the government is acting towards disaster management, right? And disaster management cycle. This is nothing but, I mean, there are criteria like before the disaster, how we can prepare for a disaster which can occur, like mitigation, preparation, that is preparedness, response, and recovery. Mitigation means mitigate, that is minimize the effect of disaster. How we can minimize the effect of disaster? We need to identify what are the common disasters which regularly occur in a particular area. Like I'll give you a simple example is, say, floods in Hyderabad is occurring regularly, right? So what people have to do before the rainy season, all the nalas and these sewer lines should be very clean and clear, so that whenever the rain occurs, even if it is a heavy rain, all the water should flood through the sewer lines and go out of the city, right? So no flooding will occur. But if the sewer lines are choked with a lot of materials, what we throw out, then the flooding will occur, right? Or even the people who are living in the low-lying areas have to be moved from there and to be rehabilitated somewhere else. So that is how we can mitigate people. Loss of life and loss of death can be minimized. Right? Preparedness, I will take the example of COVID-19. Right? Once this COVID-19 disaster pandemic occurred, people, scientists or research scholars have just given an instruction that wear mask, right? Maintain social distance and do hand sanitization. That is how we are prepared, and we are, I mean, taking care of that. Then response phase. Response means preparation of the vaccine, right? People are doing research and developing vaccines, and all the vaccination process is going on throughout the world, right? Along with the preparation, that is a mask and all that vaccination. So we are responding toward that disaster. After that, once the disaster is completed, okay, all the vaccination, and say suppose everybody is vaccinated and no COVID virus is there and it has lost, but there is a loss of economy and people have to again rehabilitate themselves. All the government should cope and start again a reconstruction of the economy of a government or a country or the whole world, right? There is a lot of economic crisis due to COVID-19. So all that has to be rehabilitated, which comes under recovery stage. So this is disaster management cycle, right? and this is disaster management in India, right? In India, there is a National Disaster Management Authority headed by the Prime Minister of India directly, is the apex body for disaster management in India, with setting up of disaster management authority and the creation of an enabling environment for institutional mechanism at the state and district level is mandated by the Disaster Management Act 2005. According to this Disaster Management Act 2005 only, these local governments and the local government areas and disaster management authorities have been framed, and the government is giving, I mean, making policies so that people should follow these rules, and mitigation and prevention, mitigation, preparedness, and response should go, and the impact of the disaster should be minimized, right? So this is disaster mitigation and the Disaster Management Act 2005, right? This developed an act called as Disaster Management Act, was passed by the Lok Sabha on 28th November 2005 and by Rajya Sabha on 12th December 2005. It was passed by President, right? And the President is the chairperson of this, right? The Prime Minister of India is chairperson of this authority, and this has not more than 9 members at a time, including vice chairperson. The tenure of the members of this authority is 5 years only, right? And this authority, which was initially established on 30th May 2005 by an executive order, was constituted under Section 3(1) of Constitution, and this authority responsible for laying down the policies, plans, and guidelines for disaster management in the country and ensure very timely and effective response to disasters in the country. According to these disaster rules only, we are wearing mask, and all these activities what we are following now as a pandemic rules are comes under this act only, right? And last but not least, disaster management plan. On 1st June 2016, Pranab Mukherjee, the ex-president of India, launched the Disaster Management Plan of India, which seeks to provide help and directions to government agencies for prevention, mitigation, and management of disasters. And this is the first plan nationally since the enactment of the Disaster Management Act of 2005. Since 2005, in 2016, the first activity has started. It was started by Pranab Mukherjee as a token of appreciation to Mr. Pranab Mukherjee. I have given this point. I have placed this point, and with this we have completed total syllabus. If you have any doubts, you can raise, or else we will close the session here. Students, if you have any doubts, you can raise. Students, are you there still with me? Say yes if you are there.
Yes, sir.
Right. You have any doubts, my dear? Today
No,
is
sir.
26th, right? Right. Any doubts, please raise. Okay. I am ready to explain. Even if you are interested, you can call me to my mobile. You know my number because people keep different messages to me, right? So you can I have a small thing I wanted to discuss, this one also out of your syllabus. What are these? Any idea, my dear students? Now today I won't speak because I have done the syllabus. My job is done. Now you people should speak, or else I will not discuss anything about this. Start speaking, or else I will not discuss anything. This is not part of our lecture. I mean academic. It is beyond the lecture. If you are interested, I will speak. Otherwise, no use.
Nothing. These are some things which need to be taken into consideration for every government for
Very good.
sustainable development.
Very good. May I know your name?
Surya Kiran, sir.
Surya Kiran from which section, which branch?
Mechanical, sir.
Very good, Surya Kiran. I appreciate. చెప్పండి ఇంకా ఎవరైనా ఏమైనా చెప్పాలనుకుంటే రైట్ సూర్య కిరణ్ అట్లీస్ట్ థ్యాంక్ యూ సూర్య కిరణ్ because you have made my day today, right? Because at least one student answered. Now these are 17 sustainable goals, right? I said in 2005 the United Nations organization has taken a challenge to minimize the global warming and that, and to, I mean, conserve natural resources, and uh, much amount of the resources were conserved, and even ozone layer depletion was regenerated. The ozone hole is regenerated, and that was the challenge of that global challenge. And as a success of the challenge, people identified that okay, once we have taken the challenge in 2005, there was a success till 2011. Again in 2011 to 2015, they made one more challenge. The whole world summit, in that they have made a challenge that from 2015 to 2030, 2030, 30, for 15 years, we will take up a challenge including 17 SDGs. SDGs and Sustainable Development Goals, right? The 17 goals, everybody has to take care and improve these goals so that we will have a sustainable environment, sustainable society. What are that goals? First one is no poverty. There should not be poverty in the world. Zero hunger. Not even a single person should suffer hunger. Good health and well-being. Everybody should have a good health. That is, medical support should be provided, or good food, nutritional food should be supplied, and for each and every citizen of the world. Then quality education for each and every citizen. Then gender equality, male, female, and even other, that is transgender. Everybody should be given equal responsibility and equal value. Then clean water and sanitation, right? The clean water and sanitation for each and everyone in the world. Affordable and clean energy, the clean bioenergy, right? Green energy, and it should be affordable. Then decent work and economic growth. Everybody should get a work, decent work, depending on their career and their qualification, and there should be economic continuous growth in the society. No inequalities, economic inequality should not be there. Then industry innovation and infrastructure. This should go hand in hand with economic growth, industry innovation and infrastructure development in the country. Then reduced inequalities. Inequalities means the financial inequality. Then sustainable cities and communities. All the cities should self-sustainable. That means they should get the energy there only. They should treat their waste there only, and they should live. They should not put burden of waste on some other society. And then responsible consumption and production. Whatever energy we consume, we need to responsibly produce the same energy in any other way, like decreasing carbon footprint. Students, are you still there with me?
Yes, sir.
Right, yes. Right. Then 13th is climate action. That is, all the country people should work towards the sustainable development of the environment to minimize global warming, acid rain, ozone layer, right? All these. And then the life below water and life on earth, 14 and 15, biodiversity. I told you these 2 points, right? The life below water should be sustainable, and above on the land should be sustainable. That means no endangered, no threatening of their biodiversity should be there. Then peace, justice, and strong institutions. Our law should be equal to everyone, and it should produce peace, justice, and strong institutions, rules and regulations for all the people and institutions of the all countries. But is it going on in Afghanistan now?
No,
Look,
sir.
yeah, I'm not talking apart. I mean, I'm not talking a political issue, but we can see that, right? We know that what current affairs going on in Afghanistan, this rule is not at all going on, right? Then partnerships for the goals, right? That is, to achieve all these goals, all authorities, like irrigation board and other board, everybody has to work partnership, work to hand in hand. Then we can achieve, right? So this is what sustainable development. I will take attendance now, right? Directly from here. Yeah. So this is ECB. ECE. I'm taking present is number 63, 64, 65.